friends. In this video, we will be discussing about the concept of increment and decrement operator. We try to understand the examples. Already the concept we have discussed in the previous video. If you have not gone through that video, I request first you go through that. The link of that particular video is available with the description box. Here we will be discussing about the example that how pre-increment and post-increment is going to be performed when we are trying to implement that concept in the statement or the instruction. Now, first of all, I want to tell you that based on the compiler, the pattern of execution is different. If we are using Boolean or Turbo compiler, then the pattern of execution for increment, pre-increment, post-increment is different. And if we are using GCC compiler, means any application which uses the GCC compiler, like online compilers, if you are using Dev C++, you are using code blocks. So all this are using GCC compiler. So here we are trying to understand the concept of pre and post increment with the considering that we are using GCC compiler. So first of all, we try to understand some fundamentals of pre or post. So in that we have seen that pre means it will be incremented or decremented first, and then other operation is to be performed. Here in the case of post, other operations are to be performed first, and then the increment or decrement operation is to be performed. Here we try to understand or we try to take it in such a way that we are having two things. One is the value of operator in memory and the value of operator in use. Now what is the meaning of it? Value of operator in the memory means what? If it is pre-increment, for example, then a equals to 10. So right now the value of a is 10. In memory the value of a is 10. But now if we increment the value of that, in memory value is to be changed or it is to be incremented from 10 to 11. So that is in memory. And what is in use? Use means for particular instruction or the particular statement, what value of a we will be using. We see the example so that you will be more clear. So we try to understand this first statement, c equals to a plus 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 a plus plus. Now we make a box here. This is memory box and the value here which we'll be using. So for both I am making a box. Now see, it is a plus plus. A plus plus means we need to increment later on. So we need to use first. Again I repeat, it is post increment means we need to increment later on. So what we need to do first? We need to use the value of a first. So what is the value of a? Value of a is 5. So in this instruction we will be using the value of a which is 5. Okay. Now we have already used. Now the pending operation is what? That is increment. So the pending increment operation is to be performed means what? Now the value of a becomes 6. So in memory the value of a becomes 6. Okay. Now we are moving further. So here it is a plus plus means again it is post increment means we need to increment later on. We need to use the value of a first. So what is the value of a in memory? It is 6. So we will be using the value of a which is 6, and then the pending operation is increment. It means the value of 6 will be incremented by 1. So in memory the value of a will be what? 7. So in memory it is 7, but for this instruction which value we will be using? We will be using this values 5 and 6. So now you perform addition on it. So 5 plus 6 gives you 11. So I hope you understood. We take more examples so it will be more clear for you to understand. Now we take this example. In this example, again we will be making two boxes. This is for memory and this is for use. Okay. So now in this case, the value of A is 5. So since this is postfix, we will be using the value of A is 5 because it is postfix. Postfix means increment is later on. So we will be using it first. So we have used the value of A, which is 5. Now we are incrementing the value of A, that is 6. So in memory the value of A is 6. Now when we come over here, it is pre-increment. Pre-increment means what? We need to increment the value of A in memory first. We need to increment the value of A in memory first, because first increment and then use. So value of A is 6. It will be incremented in memory. So now in memory value of A will be 7. And now the latest value of A, which is 7, will be used. So in use we will be writing 7. Now if you make sum, 5 plus 7 gives you 12. Okay. Now the third example. In this case, it is pre-increment. So first of all, we make the box. Now this is something special. Pre-increment is a special case. Just concentrate here. The value of A is 5. So this is pre-increment. Pre-increment means we need to increment the value of A in memory first. So 5 will be incremented in memory. So this is memory. So we'll be writing 6. This is in use. So it is 6. But since this is pre-increment, we will not be writing the value of A in use. First we will go to the next part and we perform that operation first. Okay. So here it is post increment. So in the memory the value of A is 6. So in use it will be 6. Why it is 6? Because post increment. So first use, then increment. So we are using the value of A first. So for that we have written 6 here. Now we are incrementing the value in the memory. It is 7. And this latest value of 7 will be used here. Latest value of memory of A will be used for instruction. So in instruction for use we will be writing 7. So 7 plus 6 gives you 13. This is a little bit complicated. You try to understand what we have done. If it is pre-increment, so we are incrementing the value of A in memory. Then we move further. We perform the other operation. And then the latest value of A will be used for this particular instruction. So what we have done? We have incremented. Then we move further. We have performed this operation and the latest value of A is 7. So that will be used over here. So that's why it is 13. Now, in the same line, we try to understand if we have more than two operations to be performed, three operations to be performed. So what is the case? So here, memory and use. Okay, memory and use. Memory and use. Right? This is for memory, this is for use. So A equals to 5. This is pre-increment. So 5 will be converted into 6. Now since it is pre-increment, we will not be writing the value of use. First we complete this operation and then only we will be writing the or we will be mentioning the value of use. Now we move further. Now the value of A is what? 6. This is post increment. Means increment is later on. So use is first. So we'll be writing 6 over here. Now use is been completed. Now you need to increment. So now we are incrementing the value of from 6 to 7. Now before moving further we need to complete this because this is the pair. So this 7 will be used. So now the value for this particular part, that is 7 plus 6, 13. Now we have 13 with us. Okay. Now 13 plus this. 13 plus this. Now what is this? So the pre-decrement it is. Pre-decrement means decrement first, then use. So the latest value of A is 7. So what we will be doing? We will be decrementing the value of A from 7 to 6, and now no further operation is to be performed. The latest value of A, which is 6, will be used. So it is 13 plus 6, which is 19. Okay. So this is how we are supposed to perform the operation. Now we take another case. In this case, what will happen? This is for memory and this is for use. So here A will be what? Right now A is 5. This is post decrement. So we'll be using the value of A, which is 5. Now we will be decrementing the value in the memory. So in memory it is now 4. Now next is pre-increment, means we need to increment the value of A first in the memory. So from 4 it will be 5. So in use it will be 5. Now this operation is completed. 5 plus 5 gives you what? 10. Now we are moving further. Now 10 plus A plus plus. So this is post increment. The latest value of A is 5. So that 5 will be used over here. Then we are incrementing the operation. So 5, it is 6 now from 5. So 10 plus 5 gives you 15. And now 15 plus this. Now what is this? This is pre-decrement. The current value of A is 6. Pre-decrement means decrement first. So it will be decremented from 6 to 5, and then in the use we will be writing 5. Latest value is 5, so that we will be using 5. So 15 plus 5 gives you 20. So this is how increment and decrement operations are to be performed. Again, this is specifically the case for all those compilers which are based on GCC compiler. For Turbo and Ball and compiler, the pattern of executing these statements is somewhat different. Okay, thank you for watching the video.